A woman realizes that she has the ability to control a monster halfway across the planet, and she must figure out how to deal with this monster while the rest of her life spirals out of control. Welcome back to Recap Spot. Today we'll be going over the 2016 sci-fi thriller Colossal. The film opens up in a park in Seoul, South Korea. It's late at night and a young girl is looking for her doll. Suddenly, she sees a monster walking past the buildings behind her, and she screams as the scene fades to black. The film then jumps forward by 25 years, and we see a woman named Gloria as she stumbles home into her apartment in New York City after a night of partying. Gloria is an unemployed writer who has spent all of her time partying and drinking instead of trying to get a job.
And that isn't true.
Her boyfriend Tim is home and is upset at her behavior. He tells her that she's out of control and he can't deal with her anymore. Tim says her bags are packed in their bedroom and Gloria needs to be gone by the time he gets home from work. Gloria sits in shock in their apartment as Tim leaves, before the film eventually cuts to Gloria arriving at her hometown in New Hampshire. With no boyfriend or job to rely on, Gloria moves back into her childhood home, which is now run down and empty. Gloria spends her first night sleeping on the floor before heading out and buying an air mattress. She awkwardly carries it home when a truck passes her and pulls over. It's a man named Oscar that used to be friends with Gloria in elementary school.
Oscar?
He asks what she's doing in town, and Gloria lies and says that she's just there on vacation. The two decide to hang out, and Gloria gets into Oscar's car, not knowing that she just made a huge mistake that will cost hundreds of people their lives. Gloria learns that both of Oscar's parents have passed away, and Oscar inherited a bar from them. He takes her to the bar, and Gloria is uncomfortable with all of the alcohol, since she's been trying to stop drinking since her breakup. Gloria scratches the top of her head and tells Oscar that it's a nervous tic she has.
It's this nervous tick I have. I get this itch.
Later that day, she's introduced to Joel and Garth, two of Oscar's good friends. The group are happily talking and hanging out when Oscar puts a beer in front of Gloria. After a moment of hesitation, she decides to start drinking again. The group is still hanging out and drinking by the time the bar closes, and eventually Oscar brings everyone into the blocked-off area of the bar. Gloria is overjoyed when she sees that it's Western themed, and she learns that it was blocked off because Oscar didn't have the money to renovate it.
Oh my god, you kept this part the way it was. It's awesome!
Garth and Oscar start playing cards together, leaving a drunk Gloria to flirt with Joel before joining them. Oscar tells a story about how Gloria always used to beat him in the short story competitions back in school, but Gloria just laughs and says that she only writes magazine articles now. Oscar goes to get another beer, and Joel tries to kiss Gloria. Oscar freaks out when he sees this and threatens to beat Joel up before grabbing his keys and leaving. Gloria, still drunk, is forced to walk home with her air mattress. On the way, she takes a shortcut through an old playground and makes it back to her house in the early morning. She starts to unpack the mattress, but gets tired and passes out on the floor. She has a dream about herself as a young girl running through the forest as thunder rumbles overhead. Gloria jolts awake from this dream, unaware that it's actually a crucial memory she's forgotten. She gets a call and learns that a huge monster attacked Seoul. She's skeptical at first, but soon finds a video of the monster appearing, walking across the city, and suddenly disappearing. She then calls Tim, and he questions why she's just now hearing about this when the attack happened 9 hours ago. She tries to come up with an excuse, but he just tells her that if she's still drinking all night and sleeping all day, then she needs to go get professional help.
Hey, what are you getting at, Tim?
Gloria heads to Oscar's bar that night and drinks more, while watching more reports about the monster. She stumbles home drunk from the bar, and ends up back in the playground where she falls asleep on a bench and has another dream of herself as a child. She wakes up to a call from Tim, and he realizes that she was drinking again, and hangs up on her, causing Gloria to throw her phone in frustration. Gloria goes home and falls asleep again. She then gets woken up when Oscar shows up with a TV to give to her. Gloria is confused, but Oscar explains that he told her last night he would give it to her, but she must have been so drunk she doesn't remember. As he sets the TV up, Oscar tells Gloria that the monster was in Seoul again last night at exactly 8:05, the same time as the previous attack. But it just stood there and made weird hand gestures before disappearing.
Oh my gosh.
It appeared and disappeared. Exactly 8:05.
He also mentions that the creature was first spotted briefly 25 years ago, but everyone assumed it was a hoax. Oscar then starts getting the news pulled up on the TV so she can see the reports, and he mentions that Gloria also told him the truth about her breaking up with Tim and moving back into the house, because she doesn't have a job. He also tells her that he offered her a job at the bar last night while she was drunk, and she said yes, But of course, Gloria doesn't remember that at all. She agrees to work at the bar and doesn't seem to find it suspicious that Oscar can remember so much that she can't. The two hug, and Gloria is weirded out when she looks at the TV and sees a clip of the monster scratching the top of its head, the exact same way she does. While working at the bar that night, Gloria sees more footage of the monster and realizes that it looked like it was on the phone the exact same way she was. We see a montage of Gloria researching the monster attacks during the day and drinking with Oscar and his friends at night. Eventually, Gloria comes to the conclusion that she is somehow controlling the monster's movements whenever she walks in the park, and she proves this by going into the park and making very specific arm movements, which she sees the monster replicate the next day on the news. Gloria realizes that this means she's also responsible for all of the destruction and death that the monster has caused, and she lays down in shock before eventually falling asleep. When Gloria wakes up, she gets on a video call with Tim and explains her new job and friends.
I'm working.
But she gets interrupted when Oscar and Joel show up with a futon. Oscar tells her that she said she wanted it last night, but Gloria has no memory of this. The group then heads to the bar for work, and Gloria hears a funny story about Oscar drunkenly dancing and pointing at his crotch. Gloria ignores a call from Tim and drinks heavily as Garth performs a trick for the group. She then says she wants to tell the guys a secret, and brings them all out to the playground. Gloria tells them to pull up a live feed of the monster, and they all watch in confusion as Gloria does Oscar's drunk dance, and the creature follows her movement. The monster gets shot at, and Gloria feels its pain. She drunkenly punches the air around her and takes out a helicopter.
Ow, what was that? What was that?
Realizing that she just killed someone, Gloria sobers up and tries to get off the playground. However, she falls and knocks herself out. Gloria wakes up in her home, with Oscar coming to bring her some groceries. She freaks out and asks about how many people she killed by falling, but he won't tell her. Instead, he shows her a news headline about how a giant robot appeared alongside the monster, and it turns out that Oscar was controlling it. The two go to a diner and try to figure out why they're the only ones that cause the monsters to appear when they walk on the playground. They figure out that the playground used to be a construction site, and that sparks a memory from Gloria, where she remembers walking past the site on a windy day as a child while holding a project, with a young Oscar following close behind her.
Hi, I'm the robot, she's the monster.
Gloria has an idea, and they get a Korean man to translate a sentence into Korean for them. The two then head to the playground, and Oscar admits that he's been stalking Gloria's career ever since she left town. Gloria ignores this giant red flag, and the two flirt a little. Gloria then gets ready and goes onto the playground. Once the coast is clear, she kneels down and writes down the message they had translated, which turns out to say, "I'm sorry, it was a mistake, it won't happen again." The news footage of the message airs in the bar that night, and Gloria sees that now the public is on the monster's side. Gloria stays late with the guys as they drink, and she gets Joel alone for a moment to ask him where he lives. She stops by his house later, and the two end up sleeping together. Gloria wakes up at Joel's house the next morning and sees a news report that the giant robot returned and is stomping around the streets. Gloria and Joel rush to the playground, where they find a very drunk Garth and Oscar messing around. Gloria yells at Oscar to get off the playground, but he refuses and says that he hasn't killed anyone like she had.
Not hurting anyone, okay? We already checked.
Gloria walks onto the playground and slaps Oscar, getting him to finally leave, and giving Gloria a taste of what Oscar's true personality is like. The footage of their fight plays at the bar, and Oscar does a poor job of pretending he isn't upset about it. Oscar gets really drunk that night and starts being mean to Gloria. He then berates their friend Garth about his drug problem until Garth storms out. Oscar then tries to get Gloria to drink, even though she tells him she's trying to quit, and he says that if she doesn't drink, then he's going to stomp through the playground. She dumps the drink out, and Oscar storms out with Joel. Gloria tries to stop him from driving off to the park, but Oscar says that for once in his life, he's just as amazing as her.
My life is just as amazing as yours now!
Before driving off and forcing her to follow on foot. She eventually arrives at the playground, and the two begin to fight. Gloria punches Oscar, and he shoves her to the ground, telling her that if she doesn't come to work at the bar that night, then he'll go back to the playground again. Gloria goes home and sleeps, only to be woken up when Joel shows up and says that Oscar feels bad and wants to give her a bunch of furniture. Gloria rushes to Oscar's home for an explanation and finds that it's full of trash and beer. Oscar breaks down in tears and apologizes, asking if they can be friends again. Gloria says yes, as long as they stop the late night drinking. Gloria gets home and finds that Joel has decorated with the furniture from Oscar. She then gets a call from Tim and finds out he's in town for work. She goes to his hotel room and figures out that he's lying about being there for work, and is actually just jealous. Tim insults Gloria's new job, and she tries to leave, but Tim is apologetic and asks to drive her.
I used to lend you money, now you're just working for tips.
She brings him into the bar and introduces him to Oscar. Oscar gets jealous after meeting Tim and threatens him. He then sets off a firework in the bar, but luckily no one is hurt. Oscar says that despite how irresponsible that was, Gloria still isn't going to leave town with Tim. Tim is confused, but Gloria knows that if she leaves, then Oscar is going to use the playground to kill people. Tim says he's leaving town the next day and hopes that Gloria joins him. Gloria goes home that night and finds Oscar in her home. He says he's there to watch her and make sure she doesn't leave with Tim. She sits on the couch and suddenly remembers the day she was walking to school with Oscar when her project got blown out of her hands. Oscar went to get the project, and Gloria secretly followed him and watched as he crushed her project. Gloria was furious, and lightning struck her and Oscar's head. Both kids collapsed, and we see that Oscar had a toy robot and Gloria had a toy monster, with both toys looking just like the monsters they can control. She realizes that was the moment that the monsters first appeared, and the reason the monsters show up at 8:05 is because that's the time the lightning struck.
I used to think it was something else.
Gloria calls Tim in front of Oscar and says that she wants to leave with him, and both Gloria and Oscar suddenly realize that it's almost time for the monsters to show up. They race towards the park, throwing furniture at each other as they try to get out of the house. Eventually, they arrive at the park, and Oscar punches Gloria so hard she collapses, before stomping around and causing destruction. Gloria heads home, and realizes that if she can control the monster and Seoul from their playground, then it might work the other way around too. She heads to the airport and calls Tim after her flight to Seoul to let him know that she's okay. Oscar assumes that Gloria is with Tim and gets ready to cause mayhem in the playground. Gloria then summons her monster from Seoul, and it shows up at the playground. She grabs Oscar and throws him with all her might, causing his robot monster to also go flying. Everyone is overjoyed, and as people celebrate, Gloria stops by a bar and asks the bartender if she wants to hear an amazing story. Click one of the videos on screen right now.